Like and subscribe right now, or this will be in your bed tonight. Welcome to another video looking at the top posts from r/ProRevenge. Whoa, you have not subscribed or liked the video? That is not cool. Like and subscribe now to help out my channel. Can we reach 1000 subscribers by the end of 2020? I rented a fake apartment and accidentally got ProRevenge. So this happened a long time ago. It's probably okay to post here. It was 2010 November 2009. And I was jamming to I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas, looking for a cheap apartment. I find a great ad in Craigslist and arrange for a viewing. I meet the landlady, a portly shrew with a Betty Page haircut. I wasn't here for the company however, but for the cheap room. It's not great looking, but it is cheap, so I tell her I'm interested. She tells me the place is mine if I can get a deposit by end of day. Sweet. I rip to the bank and grab the $450 bucks needed, a half a month's rent. She and I cross-sign a standard lease and ask when I can get a key to move in, and she says a couple days as the current tenant has yet to collect all of their stuff. So, I'm sleeping on the couch at a buddy's pad for now, and so I just chill, seeing sights, enjoying the first few weeks in a new city. A couple days roll by, and I haven't heard from the landlady, so I get frustrated and leave a few salty voicemails, but alas I was ghosted. Finally she leaves me a voicemail and says sorry, but she cannot rent the place to me. I start to get angry, but I'm a pretty cool customer, so I do the research, find out my rights in an unfamiliar new municipality, and discover that if someone backs out of a lease without a legal reason, the other party is entitled to double the deposit they placed. So I figure she owes me about $900 clams. I leave more messages and emails. Again with the ghosting, not answering the phone, no responses via email either. I get fed up. Now, I had just accepted a new job, but it didn't start until the turn of the month. I would guess it's about the third week of November 2009. I have some spare time, so I hop on the bus, buy a magazine, and sit at the bus stop across from the rental house, and just wait and wait. For a couple hours I waited, but man was it worth it. I see her showing the unit to another smart mark. I hold my cool and wait for her to finish with her newest renter and make my way over to the house to confront her. As soon as she sees me, she starts to wail about how the tenant changed their mind, blah blah blah, and that's why she couldn't rent to me. I've heard enough. I square my stance directly opposite this clearly upset charlatan. Now you listen to me. You will get me $900 as required by law by the end of the day, or I will go directly to the police station and let them deal with you. She turned white. For a minute I thought she was going to puke on the ground right there in front of me. She says, "Hold on, I will get you your money." I remember thinking, shit, that was easier than I thought. She goes upstairs. The unit was a basement unit in the house she was living in, and I shit you not, hands me a wad of cash and says, "Here, this is ruining my Christmas, but here." She almost pushed me off balance as she jammed the messy wad of cash into me. "Thank you. Good day," I say and take the money, count it, and walk away. I didn't turn around and look back. Got on the first bus that stopped nearby heading back toward the direction of my friend's house. Not until I was home did I calm down and realize it was going to be a sweet Christmas, all thanks to a lying funny cheapskate. However, this is not the end of the revenge. About a week later, I get a phone call from a friend asking me if the lady in the news is the same crazy lady I got the double damage deposit from. I'm like, what? Sure enough, it turns out this lady was running the same scam in parallel with a bunch of other victims. I'm mortified, not just because I almost got scammed, but it immediately occurs to me that the money I got was someone else's money and they are homeless for the holidays. I head right down to the police station, where there is, I shit you not, a line of crying people filing reports about being scammed by this woman. I feel awful, and when it's my turn, I get to the intake officer and start to give my story. I lay it all down, how I fell for it, how I left a snotty voicemail, how I staked out the rental to confront her, my demand of double the money back, my threats of legal action against her, and finally the skillful execution of the law by getting double the deposit back. I tell the cop I took some of the money that belonged to the other victims, and she looks at me and says, "Man, you were the only one smart enough to confront her in a reasonable way. You earned that money. Don't worry about it." A young lady who was now homeless and desperate couldn't help but overhear, and as I'm leaving the police station, she approaches me and says, "Hey, did you get your money back from that bitch?" To which I sheepishly reply, "Actually I got double my deposit from her when I threatened her with the police." The girl blinks a couple times and finally grins, starts a slow clap, and announces to the other victim still waiting to give a statement in the lobby of the police station, "This guy took her for double the damage deposit." I cringed. But then, in the most unexpected turn of events, the line of victims began applauding, I suppose with the realization that, while their money was gone, someone had really screwed her back, and that made them happy. They cheered. I felt better. The cops laughed. And we all, there had to be 20 people in all, had a joyful cosmic moment of holiday schadenfreude at her expense. I left the police station with a clean conscience and a smile on my face, and enjoyed every last penny of that worthless bitch's nasty stack. For the non-believers, here are a couple media reports of the woman who tried to scam me, with bonus pictures of her getting hauled away. https://www.pressreddit.com/canada/times:/20100318/28450174206387 https://bc.news.ca/bc landlord facing multiple fraud charges 1.469910. Happy holidays. Edit. Spelling. Fixed a messed up a date. More edit. Thanks for the silver. This bitch just keeps paying off. Even more edit. Gold. You guys are so full of the giving spirit of Christmas. Thanks again. Edit the fourth. Now with the platinum. Stop you guys. :close bracket. Okay, final edit. Yes, this really happened. I'm not a creative writing student, but thanks for the compliment. Thanks for all the awards. This was really just a fun thing I decided to write on a whim. I was having my annual chuckle about this whole fiasco by googling it around this time each year, and I thought I would share the story. No, I don't hate the lady, I just think she made some bad choices. If she reads this, I'm sorry I called you a bitch. Kinda. :close bracket. Grandfather floods neighbor's house. When my grandfather was a kid, around 8 or 9, he lived in a house close to a woman, let's call her Susan, who would hit random kids if they did something stupid like step on her lawn. She also had a particular hatred towards my grandfather, who was always out and about having fun. She thought he lacked a sense of authority, even though the only interaction she had with him was seeing him walk past her house. One day she grabbed my grandfather and dragged him to his house and tried to get him in trouble for picking up an apple he found on the sidewalk in front of her house, not even her property. Apparently she also tried to get the law involved at one point over this. My grandpa's mom didn't give a shit and just shut the door on the lady's face. A few weeks after that, the woman went on a trip and was going to be away for a few weeks. My grandfather decided to run her house into her basement window and leave the water running. Apparently there were 8+ feet of water in her basement by the time she got back, ruining almost all of her stuff. Not mention the $4,000+ in foundation damages it did to the house. So yeah, my grandpa tells that story a lot, and I always thinks it is funny when he does. The end. Don't send nudes on your company phone. If you do, don't tell anyone about it. If you do, make sure you don't tell someone who doesn't like you. If you do, delete the nudes before you hand in your phone to the ad department. So I used to work with this man named Michael. Michael was a sycophantic yes man who had no real skills required for our job, but faked it well for a few years. When I was hired, Michael was the regional manager. Though he was very friendly to me in the days leading up to me joining, he was apparently telling all of the employees that I was only hired to come in and clean house, that I was not to be trusted, and that everyone should go to only him for everything. It took me a few months for people to realize that I wasn't the monster he set me up to be, and that I was there to help. Once the employees knew I wasn't a bad guy, they came to me for everything. Michael did not like this. Skip forward a few years. There's been some pettiness and some clashing, but Michael and I are at a point where we can work together civilly and generally stay out of one another's way. Unbeknownst to me, Michael was very much not doing his job and the company decided to hire someone to replace him, Charles. However, because my company believes in second chances, Michael was allowed to step down to a lesser role. Charles came in, he and I clicked right away, and Michael faded into the background. Now, Michael's wife was not very impressed with this demotion. Some bad shit went down, fights were had, and finally a divorce was announced. Michael decided that at the ripe old age of 45 he was going to jump right into the online dating world. He had a new date every 2 or 3 days, was constantly bragging about the girls he was going out with, but never seemed to realize that he only ever had first dates. No one apparently wanted a second. During this freewheeling free-for-all, Michael apparently met a girl on Plenty of Fish. They hadn't met, but were talking and flirting all day every day. After about 2 weeks of Poff Girl, Michael started complaining about money. He'd be on the phone with some company or another paying a late bill or setting up a payment plan. He would ask constantly if we could order pizza for one of the teams and then eat that. He started looking pretty bedraggled. One of Michael's female friends from work started complaining to me that Michael was always asking her for money. When I asked why, she said Michael was sending money and paying bills for this Plenty of Fish girl. I was a little surprised. They'd never met. He didn't have much money to begin with, and lending money is always a weird situation. The friend later told me that Michael had sent some suggestive photos to the girl and that she was holding them over his head. This didn't really sit right with me. I mean, he's not married, he's not famous, he's not high powered, so what could this girl ruin in his life? The only thing he has is this job. That's when it clicked. Plenty of Fish girl had to be someone from work. Around this time, I got a spam email telling me that the sender had explicit photos and videos of me, had been tracking my phone, knew what type of porn I watched, and had hacked into my camera to watch me while I watched it. Such videos and pictures do not exist, and I'm not a grubby teenager. If I'm going to watch porn, I'm watching it on my TV and making a night of it. The sender threatened to release the evidence if I didn't send $700 to some account they had. I knew right away it was spam, so I gave my phone and computer to it to make sure there were no viruses. After getting the all clear, I decided to have some fun. I went into Michael's office, which he shared with 2 other managers, and shut the door. I told them that I was really freaked out, that someone was blackmailing me and didn't know what to do. I gave Michael my phone so he could read the email, and his face turned white. He looks up at me, eyes wide, and whispers, "Oh my god, you too?" I asked what he was talking about, and he told me that someone had stolen pictures from his phone and was threatening him and that he'd already sent them money. I kept a straight face and said, "Oh my god, that's horrible. You should give your phone and your computer to it to see if it's a virus and if they can track anything down." The man jumped right the F up. He bolted into it, told them he thought he had a virus on his phone, and handed it over. I about died. Over that weekend, we received an email asking us to bring in any company issued phones or computers for an antivirus update. I didn't think much of it, made sure I had my stuff, and reported to work on Monday morning. When I went to turn in my stuff, my manager laughed and said it wasn't necessary. I asked why. Apparently, the email had been a ruse so that Michael would bring in his equipment. Y'all. When it searched his company phone that day, he asked them if he had a virus. They found pictures, videos, you name it, of Michael. They looked at the texts and emails and realized it wasn't spam and that the name on the email account he had sent money to was shockingly similar to the name of one of our employees. Michael had been finished, catfished, bamboozled by an employee. He was fired that day for misuse of company equipment. If you hadn't tried to get me fired 3 years ago, Michael, I wouldn't have fucked with you over what I knew was spam, and you'd probably still have a job. TL. Doctor, incompetent manager is threatened by me and tries for years to set me up to be fired. 3 years later, I mess with him over a spam email I received, and he loses his job for sending pictures of his willy to an employee. Edit. I don't know who the employee was who was blackmailing him. I know it was a female, and I know the person doesn't work here any longer, but that's it. I don't have enough clearance to know who it was. I do not condone blackmailing and absolutely think she should have been terminated. I just don't have details on her. Edit 2. Wow, the men's rights brigade has found the comment section. Y'all. I'm not Michael's boss, nor have I ever been Michael's boss. I had no power or control over whether the man got fired, nor was that my intention. My intention was to mess with him over a coincidental email I received. I left out the part where I approached my manager and told him that I thought Michael was being blackmailed and that I thought it might be by an employee. I gave as many details as I could, but since I had no evidence and Michael never approached the manager, they couldn't do anything about it. I don't like the guy, but I'm not rooting for him to be blackmailed, and did what I could to try and fix that part, being that he never told me himself it was happening. This story is about how a man who fucked with me 4 years decided to send dick pics from his company device, how I got a spam email somewhat similar to what was going on, and how Michael took that knowledge to turn himself in for misuse of company equipment. It's not about me going out of my way to get someone fired for a 3-year-old grudge. It's not about me blackmailing him. It's not about me kicking a man while he's down. Thank you all for watching to the end of the video. But before you go, please like and subscribe for more. Not many of you at all that watch are subscribed or like the video, and this makes me unsure if I should continue to make more content or not. So if you want more content, please like and subscribe. If you don't want to miss out on any future videos, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button. Also, please give me some feedback in the comment section about what I can do better, because not many people comment on my videos, so I have no idea of people's opinions of thoughts about this YouTube channel. So yeah, that's all from me. If you have subscribed and liked the video, please consider sharing the video with your friends. Thanks and bye. I'm still doing daily uploads, so hope to see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.